Palantir is proving its worth again. The price is skyrocketing, almost reaching a new all-time high. People are celebrating. Atmosphere changed in a snap. Jim Cramer just dropped a massive bombshell on Palantir. Almost $500,000 are snagged. Palantir's next price target is crazy. What is happening? How will all of these make sense? Well, let me explain. Disclaimer. This is wild. Palantir seems to be making a full-on comeback. The stock has been climbing like crazy, and now it's reportedly shot up to a whopping $80 again. Can you believe that? But wait, it gets even juicier. Something else popped up today that made this whole pump even more exciting. Apparently, Jim Cramer decided to jump in and tried to work his magic on Twitter. Again, he posted this bold tweet about Palantir saying, "Nothing can stop Palantir, nothing." I mean, that's some strong energy right there. At first, Cramer's tweet got a ton of attention. Some people were freaking out, and others couldn't resist turning it into a meme fest. There's even this one classic meme that's been making the rounds. "Nothing can stop Palantir, nothing." Jim Cramer, January 23rd, 2025. With the caption, "Palantir bulls, look out. Someone has to stop this man." The reactions are all over the place. Some are panicking, others are laughing, and the rest are just bracing for what happens next. It's chaos, but honestly, pretty entertaining to watch. For anyone out there wondering who Jim Cramer is, he's a TV personality and market guru who loves sharing his takes on stocks. But here's the funny part. His predictions have this hilarious reputation for being the exact opposite of what actually happens. It's become such a thing that he's basically an internet meme now. People joke that if Jim says buy, you should sell, and if he says sell, well, maybe it's time to buy. But this time, it's different. Jim Cramer might actually be right. After his tweet, Palantir's stock really did skyrocket, and the reactions are pouring in like crazy. People are buzzing about how the so-called Cramer curse couldn't touch Palantir. One Twitter analyst even joked, "Jim Cramer's curse couldn't stop Palantir today." So did he just prove his point by purposely posting that nothing can stop Palantir? That's 4D chess right there. It's a wild theory, but honestly, the timing couldn't have been better. Palantir's momentum right now is unstoppable, and it's got everyone, from bulls to skeptics, glued to the action. Whether it's pure coincidence or some weird Cramer strategy, one thing's clear. Palantir is riding this wave straight to the moon. But here's where things get really interesting. There's still a ton of chatter about how Palantir is extremely overvalued and why people should think twice before jumping in. One analyst even went off on Twitter saying, "Palantir is extremely overvalued. I can see why some don't even want to touch it unless it drops to the 30s. This scam can keep climbing to $600, and it'll still make sense to sell, because the valuation doesn't support the price." It's a bold take, but it's not completely out of left field. A lot of people are skeptical about whether Palantir's price really matches up with its actual value. Sure, the hype is massive right now, but some think it's all just speculation driving the price higher and higher. That said, the market doesn't always play by the rules, does it? Stocks like Palantir can keep defying logic for a while, especially when there's so much buzz and excitement. It's the classic battle between hype and fundamentals. And honestly, that's what makes this whole situation so fascinating to watch. But hold up. Did you catch that part where he mentioned Palantir might hit $600 soon? Coming from someone who's bearish on the stock, that's a pretty wild prediction. It's not every day you hear someone who's not exactly a fan of the stock predicting such a huge jump. It's honestly insane, but it kind of proves a point. No matter what the public says, we can't ignore the fact that Palantir is out here defying all the odds. The stock's doing its own thing, and right now, it's making a serious splash in the market. Whether you're buying in or sitting on the sidelines, you can't deny it's one of the most interesting stories going on right now. Looking at the current charts, though, the more realistic price target that analysts are throwing out is $100. One Twitter analyst pointed out that Palantir just went up another 3.5%, marking its 8th straight day of green. That's seriously impressive. The stock's already up 30% since it hit the $63 range, and now, analysts are saying it's likely to hit $100 next. It's crazy to see how the momentum is building. Palantir is on fire right now, and those numbers don't lie. Despite all the skepticism about its valuation, the stock is showing some serious strength. If it continues like this, hitting $100 might not be that far off. And honestly, that makes the whole Palantir situation even more interesting. It's proving it has legs, even if the valuation still raises some eyebrows. And it looks like this $100 target is getting some serious backing from other analysts too. One even shared his take on Twitter saying, "Buy every Palantir dip because it's going to $100. It's a meme stock like GameStop, but Palantir has a better balance sheet." That's a pretty bold statement, but it makes sense when you think about it. Palantir's got some solid financials behind it, unlike some of the meme stocks that have shot up on pure hype. So, even though it's caught up in all the buzz, there's a bit more stability here that's giving people more confidence to ride the wave. It's like it's got that same chaotic energy, but with a more grounded foundation. The mix of hype and solid backing could really push it to new heights. No matter what the bears or haters are saying, Palantir doesn't look like it's slowing down anytime soon. One Twitter analyst laid it out in a tweet saying, "Palantir's flirting with $80 again. We're definitely crossing $100 in 2025. Haters gonna hate and say it's overvalued, blah blah blah." Look, the market doesn't care about your spreadsheets. The market does what it wants to do. Meatloaf time. It's honestly a pretty solid point. The market isn't always about the numbers or logic. Sometimes it just goes with the flow. And right now, that flow is carrying Palantir higher. Whether you love it or hate it, the stock is doing its thing. And it's tough to deny that momentum. As the analyst said, meatloaf time. It's like everything is just coming together for a wild ride. Here's the kicker. While retail investors are all hyped up buying Palantir, it's also caught the attention of the big players, those institutional investors. And it looks like they're jumping on board too. For example, Secure Asset Management recently made a move and bought into Palantir in the fourth quarter. They picked up a solid chunk of shares, which totaled a pretty significant investment, around $500,000. That's not small change. What's interesting here is that these institutional investors don't just jump in on any stock. When they start repositioning their shares like this, it's usually a sign that they're seeing something they like. Palantir's got the momentum, and now it's attracting both the retail crowd and the heavy hitters. With the way things are going, it's clear that Palantir isn't just a short-term flash in the pan. It's turning into something that's on everyone's radar. This is huge. Palantir seems to have fully bounced back, and it's doing it despite months of struggling with a crashing price. The hard work from the people behind the scenes is finally paying off, and honestly, it looks like Palantir's gearing up to do some crazy things in the future. And speaking of big moves, Palantir CEO Alex Karp is about to drop his book soon. It was actually mentioned by billionaire investor Mario Gabelli in a recent CNBC interview. Mario said he really believes this book is going to change how we see business, technology, and even the direction of humanity as a whole. He went on to say that The Technological Republic, the name of Karp's book, is going to be a game changer in how people value companies. It's going to reshape how we think about things like external macro issues, tariffs, immigration, you name it, and how companies can flip those challenges into opportunities by embracing technology. He used John Deere as an example, saying they wouldn't be as affected by things like tariffs if they leaned into tech. And that kind of thinking? It's exactly what's behind Palantir's value proposition, transforming businesses through software to make them more efficient, cut costs, and ultimately thrive no matter the global chaos going on. Mario's view is that ideas like this, once considered radical, are now becoming mainstream because the world is shifting. Businesses need to adapt, or they won't survive. Karp's book is going to bring these ideas to the forefront, and that's exactly why Palantir continues to stand out. It's not just a tech company, it's one that's got a vision of technology's role in reshaping the world. And with Karp's philosophy getting more attention, it's no wonder Palantir's value keeps growing. But what is your opinion on this? Comment down below. If you are curious to find more, then make sure to click on one of the videos you see on the screen. And with that, we come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, then turn on the notifications bell on this channel. Missing an important Palantir update might make you lose money, so don't risk it. Also, please share this video with as many people as possible. Let's get this news out there. Today is the biggest day for Palantir. Palantir price skyrockets. History has been made. People are celebrating. A lot of people turned into millionaires. Around $224 billion is no joke. Here's the crazy part. Wall Street and analysts dropped their signals and leaked what Palantir's next price will be. Alex Karp dropped a massive bombshell. What is happening? How will all of these make sense? What on earth am I even talking about? Well, let me explain. Disclaimer. This might just be the biggest day in Palantir's history. The stock didn't just go up, it skyrocketed. blasting its way to a jaw-dropping $100. One Twitter analyst perfectly captured the moment, summing up what everyone was thinking. He simply said, "Palantir is $100. Like, triple digits. Pure fascination. We finally did it, everyone." What once felt like a hopeless situation, Palantir crashing for days, weeks, even months, has completely flipped. The fear, the doubt, the endless bearish takes, all of that is in the past. Now, we can finally say it. Palantir is back. The atmosphere has completely changed. The energy is electric. People are celebrating. Twitter is flooded with excitement, and the sentiment has turned overwhelmingly bullish. Some are calling Palantir a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, one that let them retire early. Others are saying it built them generational wealth. Everywhere you look, it's just good news, incredible stories, and pure hype. So, you might be wondering, what caused this insane rally? What happened? Well, Palantir just dropped its Q4 earnings report, and let's just say, it wasn't just good. It was the best quarter in the company's history. After-hours trading on Monday went absolutely wild. Why? Because Palantir's AI-powered software business didn't just meet expectations, it crushed them. Revenue? Higher than expected. Earnings? Better than expected. Their 2025 guidance? Looking stronger than ever. But here's where it gets really interesting. One of the spark behind this massive jump is the U.S. commercial revenue. In Q4, it grew a mind-blowing 64% year-over-year. That's huge. See, a lot of investors were worried that Palantir was too dependent on government contracts. But this proves it's not just a government player. It's a serious force in the commercial world too. And with AI demand booming, Palantir is looking more unstoppable than ever. Now, let's look at it in detail. The numbers are just mind-boggling. One Twitter analyst summed it up perfectly. Palantir just reported its best quarter ever, with a massive 36% year-over-year growth in Q4, and a strong outlook for 2025. U.S. revenue alone skyrocketed 52%, and the company hit an 81% Rule of 40 score, which is a huge sign of a healthy, high-growth business. And let's talk about cash. Palantir is loaded with $5.2 billion in cash and zero debt. That's one of the strongest balance sheets in the entire market. And the deals? Insane. The company locked in 129 deals worth at least $1 million, 58 deals over $5 million, and 32 deals exceeding $10 million. But the real jaw-dropper? U.S. commercial total contract value hit a record $803 million, up 134% year-over-year and 170% quarter-over-quarter. That's explosive. And with U.S. commercial remaining deal value sitting at $1.79 billion, up significant numbers. It's clear that demand isn't just growing, it's surging. Even customer count saw a 43% jump year-over-year, which means more companies are realizing they need Palantir's AI-driven solutions. Now here's the banger. CEO Alex Karp is thinking long-term. He said, "We are still in the earliest stage, the beginning of the first act, of a revolution that will play out over years and decades. Palantir isn't just winning today, it's setting the stage for something much, much bigger. In fact, because of this, Palantir is now officially one of the biggest companies out there, bigger than some of the giants we all know and love." One Twitter analyst pointed it out perfectly. Right now, Palantir's market cap has exploded by over $30 billion in after-hours trading, pushing it up to a staggering $224 billion. To put that into perspective, Palantir is now bigger than American Express, bigger than McDonald's, bigger than Disney, Pepsi, Goldman Sachs, and even Adobe. Think about that for a second. Just a few years ago, people doubted if Palantir could ever break out of its government-heavy business model. Now, it's a dominant force, sitting among the biggest names in the market. This isn't just hype. This is a company proving itself in real time, with numbers that demand respect. And here's the crazy part. At this rate, some people on Twitter are seriously saying that Palantir could hit $200 soon. With the momentum it's got right now, and the way it's crushing expectations, that price doesn't feel out of reach. It's one of those moments where everyone's starting to wonder, how far can this go? With numbers like this, it's no surprise that the internet is buzzing. People are reacting big time, and some are even kicking themselves for not getting in on Palantir earlier. One Twitter user shared, "My biggest regret so far this year? Not buying more Palantir." And honestly, it's easy to see why people are feeling that way. Palantir's stock has been on an absolute tear, And for those who didn't pull the trigger when they had the chance, it's starting to feel like a missed opportunity. But with its strong financials and potential for even more growth, it's clear why so many people are wishing they had gotten in on this ride a little earlier. But not everyone's on the Palantir hype train. Some are still skeptical, saying that the stock is way overvalued and questioning whether it can keep this up long term. One Twitter analyst pointed out that Palantir's PE ratio is through the roof, around 500. For those who don't know, that means investors are paying $500 for every $1 of earnings the company makes. To put it into perspective, if a business only made $100 in profit with that same valuation, it would be worth a whopping $50,000. Sounds crazy, right? So, the big question is, will Palantir be able to sustain these sky-high prices? Or is this just a bubble waiting to burst? It's a tough call. Palantir's got incredible momentum right now, but with that kind of valuation, it's definitely a risky bet for the long haul. But here's the thing. This high valuation might not actually be an issue. Wall Street and analysts are adjusting their price targets for Palantir, and many are still seeing big potential despite some concerns. For example, UBS analyst Karl Kierstead just raised his price target for Palantir to $105 from $80, keeping a neutral rating. He pointed out the company's impressive 36% revenue growth, a massive 7% revenue beat, and that jaw-dropping 134% growth in U.S. commercial contracts. All of this contributed to Palantir's surprising earnings. However, he tempered his optimism, mentioning that the stock is now trading at a super high multiple compared to his future cash flow estimates, which is why he's still cautious about it. On the other hand, Morgan Stanley analyst Sanjit Singh took a more positive approach, upgrading Palantir to equal weight from underweight and setting a price target of $95, up from $60. He admitted that he had underestimated Palantir's ability to keep up such impressive growth, even with tougher comparisons coming up in 2025. While he still sees Palantir as having an ultra-premium valuation, he doesn't see any major risks ahead in the next year or so, which makes him a bit more neutral but not bearish. Then there's Raymond James analyst Brian Geswala, who's also sticking with a market perform rating. He highlighted the strong momentum across all business segments, with particularly impressive U.S. commercial growth and cash flow expectations for 2025. He's especially bullish on the company's adjusted free cash flow, which is expected to be around $1.6 billion, a 43% margin. With all these analysts adjusting their outlooks and still seeing strong potential, it's clear that Palantir is in a strong position. But the real question remains, how long can it keep this up? Regardless of the mixed opinions and high valuations, one thing is clear: Palantir is making waves. The company's rapid growth and the attention it's getting only strengthen the idea that it has a bright future ahead. When you look at the hardworking devs, the crazy utility of their technology, and the strong ties Palantir has with the U.S. government, it's easy to see why the company is positioned to dominate the market long-term. Sure, there are challenges ahead, and the stock might have its ups and downs, but with the momentum of Palantir's building and the foundation it's laying, it looks like this is just the beginning of something much bigger. But for now, let's just take a moment to celebrate and appreciate what Palantir's achieved. CEO Alex Karp said it perfectly in the Q4 report video. We're doing it. I'm sure you're enjoying it as much as I am. Let's not talk about analysts and the burden of being right. It's such a fitting statement because, right now, Palantir's hitting new milestones, and it's a time to enjoy the success, especially for the company, its community, and its investors. Karp's words remind us that while the analysts can have their say, the real excitement is in the company's achievements and where it's headed. With Palantir's growing influence and the strong community of investors and supporters backing it, the future is looking incredibly promising. This moment is a celebration of hard work paying off, but it also sets the stage for an even bigger journey ahead. The ride's just starting, and everyone's in it together. But what is your opinion on this? Comment down below. If you are curious to find more, then make sure to click on one of the videos you see on the screen. And with that, we come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, then turn on the notifications bell on this channel. Missing an important Palantir update might make you lose money, so don't risk it. Also, please share this video with as many people as possible. Let's get this news out there.